Now,
Okay.
okay.
아,
Hello.
Long. Mhm. Okay.
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 Mhm.
So just only 40 people are here so far. I'll wait a little more. Hmm?
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
Mm. So I'm in Japan. So this week is AWS Summit week. So I went to 2 days, Tokyo. Uh, I lived in Osaka. So AWS Summit Japan uh held in Tokyo. So just arrived, come back home.
I, I'm, me too. Me too, me too. But
So busy week, but so excited week.
yeah, very excited.
Very
And
excited.
so and today
Mhm.
uh leader group summits.
Yeah, leadership summit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
community
yeah, yeah.
summit. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Very excited so and very tired after this meeting. Very, very, very fun.
Yes. Nice. Mhm.
Mhm. Oops, oops, oops. Um, uh,
So we'll hang out just a little longer while more folk join us. This event is live on Zoom and YouTube, and it's open to anyone around the globe who's interested in AWS. And that's why we've set everything in UTC to keep things easy for you, global community. Uh, I'm joining from Japan again, so it's every evening here now. Where's everyone else joining in from? So please pop your location info the Zoom chat. We'd love to see where you are joining us from. Oh, India. Hi. This bomb. Yes.
let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
India too. Mm-hmm. Nice.
Nice, nice.
Yes, I want to go to Lisbon and India.
Mhm.
Oh,
Music,
yep.
Germany.
Yes, Germany.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah. Korea, Brazil,
Bolivia. Yeah, so far. So far.
Bolivia.
Yeah, so far. Oh, nice. So.
Nice,
Oh,
nice.
so I will go to Seoul next month.
Next, oh really? Next
Yes,
month, go Korea?
yes.
Very so excited. So Hiromi.
So do I will eat some food and
Some food. Oh, huh?
yes.
Uh-huh. So so
Yes.
I so so hope go to so
Nice.
USA and Italy and England. But
Yeah,
hope.
yeah, it's very nice. Mm-hmm.
Osaka, Japan, Ekati.
Mm-hmm.
In Shinkansen.
Oh, yeah. Keep us safe. Keep us free travel.
Yeah, yeah. And Italy. Oh, Hiromi,
All right.
where is ISS?
Where's the ISS? Oh. Space station? I don't know.
Or ISS?
Yes, yes, yes. International Space Station. I hope so.
Oh,
Nice
cheating BT
succeed.
double.
Okay, all right.
All
So
right.
let's go ahead and kick things off.
Okay.
Huh? So uh first of all, thank you so much for being here today. And big shout out to all of our amazing speakers. Your time and stories mean a lot to us. We've got fantastic lineup today, with each speaker bringing their own unique journey and perspectives.
Mm.
Um, I'm super excited to hear what kinds of stories and insights they'll be sharing with us. Hopefully, mm, even just a small part of today's session sparks something for you, and idea, connection, or some inspiration. And since this is such a special global gathering, feel free to drop your social handles in the chat and say hi. Say hi to others.
Okay.
So first of all, no, post about this event using hashtag AWS Global Community, please. And I started this community this with the hope of connecting to people who care about AWS and each other. These days, Yuki and I co-organize it, and we are also happy to welcome new helping hands. If you are ever interested in getting involved, just let me know. Let's grow this community together. Okay, all right. Uh, Here's a quick look at today's schedule. We've got another awesome lineup of speakers for you, and we've got 5 amazing folks lined up for today. Marjorie, Gustavo, Enrico, Socrates, and Diego. Thank you so much. And I'm sorry, and apologies if I'm a little off with anyone's name. So let's give them all a big warm welcome. We are so happy to have them joining us from around the world to be part of this community. A huge thanks to each of you. We really appreciate your time and the stories. And we are planning to follow the order showing here on the slide. So feel free to follow along as we go. Today's event will run for about 2 hours. So feel free to stay with us for as long as you are able. And to everyone joining us today, a quick remember for you all. This is a global online event, and you are welcome to join us via Zoom or YouTube, whichever works best for you. Feel free to drop any questions or thoughts into the chat at any time during the session. And if you are comfortable, we'd love to hear your voice. Feel free to unmute and share a few words at the end. So let's keep making meaningful connections and growing this amazing global community together. And let me take a moment to introduce this Meetup Globe. We created this community with the hope of building a truly inclusive and diverse space through shared learning. By connecting with people from all over the world through AWS and tech. We hope the stories and ideas shared here can spark a small inspiration or give you helpful nudge on your own journey. We especially welcome first-time speakers and anyone who hasn't had any chances to share this story. I truly hope you feel at home here and find this community to be a space where you can learn, connected, and grow. So we haven't been very active on Discord just yet, but we are hoping to start using it more and turn it into a welcoming space for everyone. If you are interested, we would love to have you joining us there. So next, we host events every month, and we are always looking for ways to make this community even better. I love for you to keep joining us and maybe even take part as a speaker. We are always open to new voices and fresh stories. If you're interested, feel free to reach out to me anytime. Right now, we are looking for speakers for our September and October and session. We'll be so happy and to hear your story. So don't be shy and consider joining us on stage. So finally, and thank you once again. And we look forward to growing this community with you. Thank you. Okay, all right. So first, mm, mm, mm. All right, let's get started with the main session. So, I'm Shuri. Are you ready?
All right, hey everyone.
Hi.
Let me share my screen and let me know if it's visible.
Yep.
Es cuando vuelves de estar en el outfit.
Give me just 1 minute. Why am I not able to share my screen?
Mm-hmm.
You know me, while I figure out why my screen is not being shared, can we start with someone else? Because I don't know. It's my new laptop and I'm not able to share my screen. I've not set up things.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Just give me like 2 minutes. And
no. Mm-hmm.
all right. If you want, you can begin with someone else and I can do it later.
Okay, no problem. We'll wait.
Can you see my screen now?
Yes, just a moment.
Okay.
Okay.
You can?
Yes, I saw.
Let me. Okay. Wait. All right. So my voice is audible and my video is visible, right? This is the mandatory checks before every meetings.
Yeah, perfect.
Hi,
Perfect.
everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're joining us. And Hiromi, thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to present at this platform. It's always nice to connect with global community. All right, so my name is Omshri, and right now I'm a cloud FinOps engineer at Accenture. Earlier, I was a DevOps engineer, and while doing all the projects and everything, I figured out that there are still many chances to optimize the cloud spend or to optimize the pipelines or to figure out how to have very optimized resources or architecture in workloads. So that's where the idea and the spark begins, and that's where I shifted from DevOps to FinOps. And right now I am managing enterprise customers. I'm reducing the cloud spend so that they can invest somewhere else. And yeah, that's what I'm doing in my day-to-day life. But my real journey with AWS began from my college when I joined AWS Academy. And then I started going into meetups of local meetups of user groups. And later I became a community builder. I now also organize a few events of AWS User Group Ahmedabad as well as AWS User Groups Women in Tech India. So this is my journey since last 4 or 5 years with AWS community, and it's been amazing. Other than that, I also have 10 AWS certifications. The 2 that are left, I'm just so scared to give them. So I'm just preparing yet. And here's my LinkedIn. You can scan this QR code to connect with me on LinkedIn. And it's there. Today, we will be talking about QCLI and MCP servers. So I know most of you have heard what is Amazon Q And now that back in this year, February, March, AWS team has launched Amazon Q CLI, right? So I'm not showing you any PPTs or stuff like that, but I will walk you through a few blogs that I've written. This is my community.aws link. Over here, I have written few blogs. If you are very beginner to what is Amazon Q CLI or how to do it, how to use it, I have mentioned all the step-by-step instruction to install it, all the prerequisites that are required for that. You can go through this blog, you can set up your environment in your Mac or in your Windows, and then you'll be able to, use Amazon Q CLI. But today we will be talking about AWS MCP servers and Amazon Q CLI. So most of you know what is MCP. I will still go through that. It's a new open standard designed to improve how AI model interacts with tools and structured data. It provides you a mechanism for AI systems to communicate with external tools or with microservices via IO, standard IO. And if there is a lot way for tools like QCLI to work better with external tools or custom logic, almost like, giving the AI a toolbox it can use when you need help. It's like a customization that you can build on top of it. So what was the challenge? I mean, for example, if I'm chatting with any AI, if I'm chatting with QCLI, that is helping me build something. Say I want to create an AWS architecture diagram or a piece of code. I want to create my portfolio website. Normally, AI just gives us text-based responses, or it will give us codes or something like that. But what if my request needs something else, like an actual JPG format AWS architecture diagram, or querying a database, real-time database, or like creating a formatted document? That's where MCP comes in. So it will help you generate diagrams, it will help you generate templates, parsing documents, or running API calls, fetching or transforming data. You just have to connect your MCP servers with Amazon Q CLI. So back when I have written this blog, we have few MCP servers available, as you can see: Bedrock, CDK, AWS Core, Nova Canvas, documentation, cost analysis. But right now we have so many MCP servers. This is the link. I will drop all the links and resources in chat box later. You can see we have MQ MCP server, we have SNS SQS MCP server, Bedrock, CDK, cost analysis, and cost explorer. These two servers are the one that I use daily in my life as a FinOps engineer. We have Amazon Nova, we have QIndex, Recognition, and the list goes on. I mean, AWS have introduced so many MCP servers which you can easily integrate with QCLI, and you can get your things done. One very familiar, let me open that. That is AWS architecture diagram, and let me go through that one. Where is it? QIndex, cost explorer. I can find architecture diagram. Let me get it from here. Okay, here you can see AWS diagram MCP server. So what you have to do, you have all these prerequisites that you have to install. You have to install UV from Astral, GitHub README. Then you have to create this client configuration, and then there will be, or you can do it via Docker. You just have to create all this file and set up this. What features AWS architecture diagram offers is it generates diagram, it creates professional diagrams using Python code. You can have multiple diagram types such as architecture diagram, sequence diagram, flow charts, class diagrams, and much more. You can add customization on top of it. What I have done once is I asked QCLI to generate a diagram for me, and then I wanted to use the diagram in my draw.io tool to customize it more. So I asked QCLI to give me a file which is draw.io supported. I uploaded that file, and then I'll be able to change it or customize it in draw.io as well. So it helps you with customizations, it helps you with security, code scanning, and everything are inbuilt in QCLI. So these are just the things, but let me walk you through this one. So this was the first image. I asked I have given a prompt like generate an AWS architecture diagram for serverless backend with API gateway, Lambda, DynamoDB, and S3. These are the services I have provided. I tried to keep the very simple prompt. It ran a few code, it generated few code, then it has given me an image like this. So you can see Lambda function is there, API gateway is there, DynamoDB is there. I have only given it 4 services, but it has also taken in consideration Event Bridge, Cognito for serverless backend architecture and everything. And it has given me this foolproof JPG format, PNG format architecture diagram. Then I have given it a detailed prompt, and it has given me like 3-tier architecture, what I was looking, but you can see it's a little bit messy, right? So we need to make sure that all the things are aligned in a proper layout format. So what you can do, you can ask to have it in draw.io, and you can further edit it. Behind the scene, how it works is, you have to request for diagram, you will give in a prompt, it will process using MCP client. QCLI will use MCP server or MCP client that is installed over there. It will go into server components. It will parse your request. Then it will generate, it will take in consideration all the things that have been configured in AWS MCP server, AWS architecture MCP server. It will go into diagrams library. It will use official AWS icons. Then it will render it, and it will give you an image. It will create an entire image and give it to you in the format of JPG or PNG, whatever you prefer. So this is the backend scene of it. These are the component architectures: MCP client, MCP server, diagram generation engines. It uses GraphViz in backend to generate your diagram. And I've already explained you how it flows, how it works, but there are few tips and tricks that you should keep in mind while using all these things. You have to use clear and declarative prompts. Your prompts has to be really clear. Do you want a serverless diagram, or do you want a 3-tier architecture diagram, or do you want a containerized architecture, AWS architecture diagram? Iterate in small steps. Sometimes it happens that while I was giving 3-4 instruction at a time, it get confused and you will not get the desired output. So you have to make sure that you iterate in small steps. It has to be a conversation type of thing. You have to use version control for MCP agents. I mean, it's really easy to lose track of what you are doing while generating or while using QCLI, because you forget what you have given before, or what are the prompts or commands that you have given before, what are the changes and customization you have asked QCLI to give you, right? So what you can do is you can maintain a version control of it. You can ask QCLI to generate a diagram, readme diagram at the end of it when you are done with all your things, and it will create an entire readme doc. Or you can ask to give you all the instructions that have been done in the session. It will create a document for you. So do that. Right now we have a good feature that has been introduced by AWS, which is QChat resume. So if you write QChat -- resume, it will give you the latest session that you have used. It will keep all the context with it, and it will give you that last session, and you can continue your work from there. So it's easy to maintain the version control like that. Few limitations and potentials that I see in future is it has a very limited control over layout. So the diagram that you have seen over here, right, it is a really cluttered one. So what it can do is it can have a very good layout, very good format. So maybe they can work over here. And I can see that back there we don't have any visual customization. So what you can do is you can download the file as I have told in draw.io or something like that, and then you can go into that draw.io and just add few customizations that is required. More accuracy is also something that I was hoping from these MCP servers, and with time I think AWS team is working on it, so it's really good. So this is how you can generate an AWS architecture diagram. I was hoping to show you everything in terminal using QCLI, but I'm so sorry, my laptop has not been configured. It came last night. Another one crashed, so that's why I have to order new in one night. If you visit my community.aws blogs, you will see so many blogs on QCLI itself. So go through those blogs, and if you have any questions, you can just drop me a message on LinkedIn. This is where I have used draw.io. So this is the diagram that I already have. It was a legacy old diagram. I want to use new logos and everything. So I just asked QCLI to give me it in draw.io format. And then I have exported the updated diagram to PNG. It has done all these things. It has converted it into editable draw.io format. And I was able to open it in draw.io, and then I have made some changes in layout, which I thought was necessary, some icons which were missing. So initially this task would have taken me 2 or 3 hours, but with QCLI, it just took me like 30 minutes. So that save a lot of my time. You can go through all the contents over here. And yeah, I mean, QCLI is something that I'm exploring a lot right now, and I'm really excited about what's coming next. What are the latest features for that? What I can explore next, what I can build on next. And yeah, that's more or less what I'm focusing on right now, apart from my day-to-day work on AWS. So if you are using QCLI, if you want to collaborate on a project or something, just ping me, reach out to me. If you have any questions, I'll try to help you as much as I can. And yeah, that's pretty much about me. Hiromi, back to you.
Thank you so much. So, preparing for certification exam can be tough. I really need to
I mean,
underline.
I have done 10 in last 3 years, and now it's just 2 more to go. I'm delaying from last 4 months
Yeah.
that okay, I will give next. I'm still not prepared. Let me do one more course. I have done 3 courses and I'm still feeling like, it's always there, especially with certifications. But I have to have some confidence and give the rest 2 of them as well. So yeah,
Yes.
fingers crossed. So yeah.
So anyway, I also love the Amazon QCLI. It was an amazing experience. It's been a hot topic here in Japan as well. Especially with the recent AWS campaign. So, and thanks to the MCP server, we can expect a solid quality. That's another big plus, right? I definitely want to use it more. I'm really looking forward to seeing for how the experience gets even better going forward.
Yeah. So in last 6 months only, they have so many. I mean, initially when I counted, there were only 8 MCP servers. Now we have more than 20, and they are always, every month they're having some or the other, feature related to QCLI.
Yep.
Last month we got GitHub support, and then now we are getting different models that you can select, Claude, Sonnet, whatever you want to select. So it's just everything new.
Ya han generado y han desplegado test
Yeah.
para que
Exactly.
todo esto se pueda probar. Entonces vamos bien. Vamos ahora contigo, Marco, por favor.
Oh,
Sorry.
no. He's mute. No.
Oh.
Self-mute.
I think he was not talking to us.
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh. Marco.
Marco.
What happened?
What happened?
Marco. All right, we are waiting. So, everyone, do you have any thoughts, comments, or questions? Hey, Marco, can you hear?
Hello?
Oh, hello. I can hear. Sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I don't have no questions. I'm new in Amazon web service, and so that is very interesting for me.
Mhm.
Yes, me too.
Me too.
Oh,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. Another one?
No comments.
Thank you, Copper. Yeah, what resources do you recommend it and some roadmap for MCP?
Mhm.
Yeah, I was just replying them on text. So roadmap for MCP is I have a course which you can refer, but I have not gone through entirely, so I'm not sure to give you that suggestion. But what I do is go to official documentation and read everything. I know it's really boring, and some people don't prefer it, but for me, I mean, that's the basic, that's the foundation where I can get all the correct knowledge, and I don't have to verify the source because it is from the original source, and the source is really legitimate if you read the official documentations, right? So that's what I do. I do MCP documentations, I read all of them, and if you want to go about QCLI, just go through, there's a GitHub repo, and over there I'll share the repo link as well. That GitHub repo contains all the links about AWS MCP servers, how to use it, how to customize it, how to edit to your QCLI. So that's what you can do. And yeah, I mean, that should be helpful. From there you can start it, and I can see there are many AWS developer advocates who take sessions on QCLI. There are live hours on Twitch or something like that. So if you have some time, those are also recorded when you can watch it later. So if you have some time, you can go through that as well. That will be really helpful. So I don't have a proper roadmap, but the documentations and the meetups and everything helps a lot to stay updated, and I suggest you to do same, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So we should do a check on official document, yes, every day.
Yeah.
Because every is changing. Grow up, right? Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Let's move on to our next special speaker. All right. So Gustavo, are you ready?
Yes, I am ready.
Thank
Ready to
you.
rock. So let me, I think you're already seeing my screen.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Oops.
Now
Let
just
me,
back
let me
screen.
close that one. 1 second. Oops.
Oops.
Just give me 1 second. I want to switch between the presenter mode and the other one.
Oh, black
Okay,
screen.
Yeah,
black screen.
black screen. So
Yeah,
present
no,
the
give
view.
me 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
I
No
think
worry.
Don't worry.
um, uh-uh.
Okay.
Oh, perfect.
Okay,
Okay.
awesome. Sorry
Oh,
for that. Yeah, PowerPoint is always playing jokes on me. So, good morning, good evening, everyone, wherever you are. So let's start with this. Perfect. So imagine the situation. You're in a dark cave and you've been captured by the enemy. In your hands, you fit a sizzling reactor core into raw metal armor. Closing your hands and you splice rusted drone motors and thick wires together. You whisper, "Hold tight, please." A hiss of hydraulics, your creation begins to come to life. At the workbench, metal circuit boards and loose leads lie everywhere. You touch flags and I said, you're casting to determine your face in hopeful light. You step back and your metal plates click around arms and legs. You fire a small thruster, air bursts out, and the cave entrance trembles. Doesn't this exactly is how it feels to wrestle with legacy code? You know, endless nights of half-baked fixes. You get the job done just like a superhero, but at what cost? And you wonder, is this really going to be a long-term solution? And where is Jarvis when you need him the most to build that nanotech-infused armor? So let me introduce you to Amazon Q Developer Transformations. Well, what is this tool? This is your own personal Jarvis-like assistant to modernize legacy code without feeling like you wrote it in a cave. One transform command and your legacy monolith gets a full makeover. This means upgrading APIs, modernizing dependencies, and even embedded SQL rewritten all in minutes, not in weeks, and without losing your sleep. So there's a broad platform coverage for Amazon Q Developer Transformations. You can have .NET framework applications transformation to turn them into .NET 6.7 services on Linux. There's also legacy modernization with COBOL mainframes and breaking those big legacy monoliths into Java microservices running into AWS. There's also the VMware on-prem workloads. So this was a previous this was an existing feature of AWS. If you've ever done migrations from VMware workloads, you were able to do it with different services for migration. But this is the AI-infused flavor with QDeveloper, which helps you discover and automate the networking setup on EC2. And this lets you do the end-to-end wave pattern over to the cloud. And also, obviously, we have the AWS migrations for Java, which help you modernize and apply all of these best practices. There's no more manual cut and paste, one by one edits. QDeveloper orchestrates every step, and there's measurable business outcomes, right? You know, you can have 4 times faster migration velocity versus hand-on coded rewrites, and you can also have 40% cost savings on engineering time and cloud footprint. You can also as of recent, you can choose your own LLM for this. Last year when this was launched, you were only able to use underneath it was using Claude 3.7. Now you can choose to use Claude 4 as well and other models. So you're never locked in that sense. So about me, I haven't properly introduced myself. I'm Gustavo Alejandro Romero Sanchez. I'm a principal cloud solutions architect at Encora, and I have 14 years of experience in the cloud. I'm an AWS community builder in the AI engineering space, and last year I was able to achieve the AWS Golden Jacket. I do have some other credentials in Azure and Google Cloud, and my expertise is mostly around cloud migrations, building CI/CD pipelines, and architecting cloud-native applications following security compliance controls, SOC 2, ISO 27001. So let's get into it. The first thing is I want to talk about is the one-click Java upgrades. So imagine you have a mission-critical Java 8 microservices, And the thought of manually refactoring every deprecated API and bumping dozens of library versions makes you cringe, right? Sometimes we feel we get those kind of tasks assigned to us, and with Q developer transformations, we can just open up your IDE type transform and begin the transformation process for upgrading Java. Under the hood, Amazon Q first runs a minimal JDK upgrade job, which will do a compilation job against Java 8 to build a complete dependency graph, and then it applies the changes needed to move the project over to Java 17 or Java 21. Next, when you click a second transformation to upgrade a third-party dependencies, Q updates your Maven or POM or Gradle scripts to the latest compatible versions, depending if you chose Java 17 or 21. When the agent finishes this process, you see it side by side and in an interacting way, the way that this is getting updated, and it will show you a plan on how it will execute the changes. This gives you all the overview of how the process is going to finish. And obviously, if you prefer the command line, this is the Visual Studio Code experience, but you can also have a command line experience using the QCT transform. And this also lets you do a different approach when you want to have you have edge cases and you require manual review for some of the things that were not included or weren't upgraded. The VS Code experience in the IDE is a fully managed experience, but in the CLI you can use a more personalized experience. By the end, you have a fully modernized Java 17 or 21 code base on a supported LTS release. So this process, in my experience, it takes about half an hour, right? With a standard code base that's running on Java 8. And this is the very cool thing about this is this, like I said, it includes all the testing underneath to make the changes. And it's not just suggesting changes, it's using an engine that is trained by AWS on all the years of experience migrating large code bases from customers and Java. So this is an actual knowledge base of Java, and this is how it works similarly for .NET and COBOL and VMware, but the Java process is slightly different to the others. So the second takeaway for this is obviously when we have an application code, it's not just a code, right? We have the database. So normally when this happens is you'll stumble into a bunch of legacy SQL statements, everything. For example, what is supported by Q developer transformations right now is using Oracle SQL as the source. And if you've ever used that, you know there's a lot of custom functions that it uses, sysdate functions, row num filters, and and especially when you have the use case where you have multiple embedded SQL queries are a part of your code, this is where Amazon Q shines, right? It will leverages metadata from AWS Database Migration Services schema conversion to automatically detect Oracle SQL and translate it into PostgreSQL syntax, right? If you've ever used data migration service, this is also has been as of last year, as of last reInvent, actually has been infused with AI capabilities to do the schema transformations. And what is beautiful about this flow is once you do the schema transformation, it generates an artifact that you can feed into the Amazon Q developer transformations experience in VS Code. And it will help you. It will have the context of the schema that you just transform and perform any changes that you need to be done to embedded SQL in your code. So this is a lot faster, obviously, even if you have hundreds and thousands of statements. As per my experience, this takes anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes. And then you can review, just like the code experience, you can review and accept the proposed changes to the SQL schema. And then Q orchestrates and builds the unit test against the modernized SQL, right? What is also interesting about this is that it also lets you upgrade the dependencies you had previously in your code base for connecting to Oracle in this case, and if you've migrated to PostgreSQL or MySQL engine, it will also update the dependencies in your project from POM XML. The third takeaway is the selective focus to reduce risk of this approach, right? So picture this. Many of you have probably found this. It's release day and you need to modernize the payment service. No risk, all or nothing migrations. Amazon Q.Pepper new selective transformation empowers you to target the specific components or packages for modernization, avoiding the disruption to the rest of the code base. So if you played around a little bit with this, you'll know that when it launched on December or even a few months ago, you did not have the choice to selectively choose what parts you want to migrate. Especially if you have a mono repo, this is going to be very difficult to migrate. And in some cases, you want to take a safe approach and choose specific parts of your code base that you want to migrate. So with the latest updates that have been done to Amazon Q developer transformations, you can supply an input file that lists exactly which modules you would like to transform in the case of Java, right? And you can simply type a natural language directive in the QChat panel, like /transform only com.myapp.payment. And that scopes underneath the upgrade to just use those classes. And under the hood, Q breaks the modernization into granular waves, right? First analyze the dependencies of the selected files and then executes only the necessary refactors. So the IDE that highlights each dependency update and API replacement, whether first party or third party, and you approve only the changes that you want, right? So this slashes regression test scopes. So you run unit and integration tests only against the modified modules, saving some time. So the idea of this is reducing the blast radius of modernization and lowering the risk of breaking critical applications. So this is more useful to you for anyone that's doing real migrations. It's if you've ever done something like this, it's one thing that when you do it on your own as a demo, taking a code base from the internet or using the AWS example code that you can use for modernizations. And when you do it in real life, you really want to reduce the blast radius for this. So this is perfect. You can have a more natural flow for the migration as compared to the previous experience where you had an all or nothing approach to the migration. So and this again, this takes in my experience anywhere for 20 to 30 minutes. So this is a recent feature that was just recently launched, and it's very awesome. So yeah, that brings me to our conclusion. So with one transform command, you're able to replace the patches and bringing your battle-ready modern code automating API upgrades, dependency bumps, and SQL rewrites in minutes and not weeks, right? See, if you ever done this in real life without any AI assistance, this normally would take weeks or even months, depending on the size of the project. So under the hood, Q builds your Java or .NET dependency graph, applies a deterministic transformation recipes, compiles against the target runtime, and runs a test with debugging errors with generative AI if needed. In the real world benchmarks, Q developers Java agent upgrades from Java 8 or 11 to Java 17 showed 4 times faster than manual methods and reduces engineering effort by an estimated 40%. So this is actually, these are some metrics coming from AWS themselves when they used this engine to migrate internal code bases to the latest Java supported long-time support. So with you can invoke QDeveloper directly in pull request as that's also part of that's another experience that was just also recently launched in GitHub. This also allows you to do migrations, and it uses the same engine underneath. So you have the IDE experience in VS Code or JetBrains and other IDEs. You also have the CLI experience, which lets you do the selective upgrade, and you also have the experience in GitHub, right? So that is new. And what is also great about this is that there's also a full audit trail for the devs, right? That for everything that is doing. So nothing gets pushed automatically to the code. The way this works is it will generate a dev where you can create a pull request and review if the changes make sense for you, and actually get an expert to review if what is being changed makes sense for you. So the call to action, it's now time to quit patching code in our caves and hand the heavy lifting over to our very own Amazon Q developer transformations. So I would suggest that you sign up with Amazon Q developer transformation. You can use the free tier to test Java migrations, and then bootstrap your first transformation project. So there are a few, I will put in the chat a few target repositories that you can use to test this. And finally, please connect with me on LinkedIn. We can discuss further if this was of your interest. And if you need any help with any projects, I'm here to help you. So I hope that was helpful for everyone. I hope you learned something today. And that's it for my presentation today.
Thank you, Gustav. What a unique and fantastic starting presentation. Thank you so much. Just one conversion command and legacy monolith is reborn. That's seriously amazing, right? So being able to migrate it so easily is a real game changer. So, and the fact that updating multiple library versions doesn't feel painful anymore. That's incredible. You could do it while sipping coffee. So we are truly living in exciting time where AI programming is becoming resources we can rely on. Thank you so much. Practical and insightful session. Thank you. So Now, does anyone have any thoughts, comments, or questions for Gustavo?
One question. How does comments? So how does Amazon Q developer compare vis-a-vis with Journey by IntelliJ IDEA IDE?
Yeah, so I would say you can compare a lot of the tools out there. You can compare it to GitHub Copilot. You can compare it to there are several tools that are being used right now. I'm mostly familiar with Copilot and QDeveloper, but I would say that QDeveloper is differentiated to any of their competitors in the sense that AWS uses their own engines or their own knowledge bases in the background, which is specialized knowledge in AWS workloads. So you're not going to get any of that high premium features and developer experience specific to AWS with any other tools. So when your target is migrating any code base to AWS, you will get the best experience using QDeveloper. So and obviously that differs from the use case where I want to build, for example, I want to build an application in Java, or I want to build a CI/CD pipeline. You can get the same results using QDeveloper as you would with Copilot or IntelliJ IDEA AI assistants, right? But where AWS really shines, Amazon Kilo Developer, is where the target is AWS for your migration, right? That would be my takeaway for that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks again. So let's move on to our next speaker, right? Enrico, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Hi.
Hi, all.
Hi.
It's a pleasure to be here. And thank you very much for this opportunity and to connect us with these amazing speakers.
Yeah,
It's
thank
really
you.
amazing.
Yes, perfect.
Perfect.
So I don't know if you are seeing my screen.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect.
Yes, okay.
Here you go.
Perfect.
Okay, so let's start. So basically, today I will talk a little bit about a different topic. We were talking about Amazon Q with the last speakers. Now we will move on something that is usually under the hood. So I will tell you a story about my personal experience, my personal startup that is IOP, where I'm CTO and co-founder. And we will see a little bit some of the basics of AWS networking, and then all the option, or well, some of the option that AWS offer in order to improve the connectivity. And at the end, we will discuss a little bit about the specific case study and takeaways. A quick introduction about me. I'm Enrico. As I said, I'm co-founder and CTO of IOP. I'm a community builder and I'm certified in different AWS certification. I have a background as a computer science engineer. I really like, or we can say love, the DevOps infrastructure and cloud architecture. And I have some experience in research mainly and in fintech. As I said, I'm a community builder in the serverless category. Regarding my startup, in order just to give you some context about why I'm talking about this topic, 5 years ago with my colleagues, we created this startup in order to create a new type of data infrastructure for the AI era. We were also accelerated by AWS Startup Loft Accelerator in Europe. Basically, the platform that we built is, you can imagine like a serverless cloud for data in order to improve both input and output. And this is really important in the example that I will tell you later on. But let's start with a base concept. Why networking and security matters, and why matter so much, especially in the SaaS and serverless platform. Basically, before first, serverless doesn't mean you don't have to care about operations, but it means that the operations needed are less than a normal server maintenance or services that you have to maintain also from an infrastructure point of view, let's say. There is a very high hidden complexity when you are setting up serverless service in AWS, but in general in cloud. And there is also a high stakes because you can imagine you misconfigure a port and open a private server to everyone in the web. This will be a very small configuration error, but it will create a very big problem from a privacy point of view, or it could lead to costly outages if there is something imaging that it's not working in the communication. Another important thing is that today I will try to explain a little bit more about the invisible layer, these invisible layers, and try to give you some feedback about my experience and how we tried in IOP to fix all this problem and to simplify at the maximum levels all the configuration that networking and connectivity needs, let's say. So let's start a very quick introduction for the one of you that have a very small concept, just a refresh of the main concept about the networking. So let's start with a VPC. As you can see in this image, I already had this presentation in AWS Community Day Switzerland, and all the presentation was, I was telling like a Star Wars story about VPCs and networking. Today, just to the limited time, I will try to not follow this, but it was nice for me to share this image about the VPC and what I imagined. Basically, VPC is an isolated virtual network, a logical virtual network that runs on AWS, basically. In this example, in this metaphor, in the Star Wars universe, I made it like a galaxy. Let's imagine that a VPC is our galaxy where our ships are moving. Then every VPC is divided by different subnets, as also the word suggests. The subnets are a small part of the VPCs and mainly are divided into types of subnets. The public ones that are usually the ones that communicate with the web and with the internet, all the resources that needed to be exposed, for example, like a website on page or the platform page of your infrastructure and of your service. Usually, these public subnets have a specific virtual component that is called the Internet Gateway that lets the traffic going out to internet, basically. While the private subnets that are thinking for internal services like databases, for example, or microservices communication, sometimes also this type of services needs some interaction with the web. Basically, usually they are not exposed, but really need to, for example, download something from the internet. In order to allow this, there are some different components that are attached to the private subnets that are called net gateways. One another important concept to mention are the route tables that basically helps to route exactly the path between a service, a component, and the exact subnet or the exact component that needs to be reached when, for example, you need to go out to the internet and you are in a public subnet. You route this traffic to the internet gateway. Same with the NAT gateway for the private gateway, NAT gateway and route. Another similitude of a basic concept in the networking are the two type of firewalls, two of the type of firewalls that AWS offers. One are the network access list that basically are components that are attached to the subnet and that have both allow and deny rules. And you can define, for example, that you allow for a specific IP address of a range of IP the access of a specific port. Imagine that you have to do an SSH from World Wide Web. You create, for example, a rule allow on these on this IP range 0.0.0.0/0 on port 22. This means that everyone is allowed to access to the port 22 and so do an SSH, for example. The other type of firewall are the security groups. Differently by the network ACLs, the security groups are attached at the network interface, so basically instance service levels, and are not stateless, but are stateful. This means that there are only allow rules, and that are very fine-grained, like you want to give to a specific range or specific IP address the access to one port, but there are not explicit deny rules. For example, there are only rules that allow the traffic. As you can see in the similitude, the network ACLs we can consider like something that is protecting a city or a planet, while the security group are protecting a specific ship, spaceship in this case, but a specific service or instance that is inside your subnet. So are very fine-grained. Let's see a little bit what AWS offers for some advanced connectivity. For example, imagine in my case that sometimes I have to reach a network of a customer, and there are a lot of also security and privacy rules that a lot of companies has in order to access into their data. AWS offers some services that allow you to connect privately or with secure connection, also with other AWS accounts, or even networks that are on other clouds or on-premise, for example. So let's start from the simplest one, the VPC peering. VPC peering is a service where you basically can connect two different VPCs and make like they are in a single network, in order to simulate, for example, the experience that you have in your local network in your PC, for example. So basically, VPC peerings enable two VPCs that are offering different AWS accounts to be connected privately. Of course, it's very simple, but have a lot of limitations. For example, everything needs to be distributed on a VPCs in order to be connected on AWS VPCs, so it's limited to AWS. And also, it's not acceptable that there are IP addresses that overlaps in two networks. This means if that I have if I have a specific range in my VPC A, for example, I cannot have the same IP range in a VPC B in order to connect them with VPC peering connection. In order to solve this problem, there are some important components that are called the VPC endpoints. There are two types of VPC endpoints. They are basically horizontally scalable devices that we can consider like logical virtual devices. And there are two types, as I said. The one is the interface type. The interface type is used to enable private connection and private link, that is another service, to a large number of AWS services. You can see in the image all these type of interface VPC endpoint services that are supported and that allow to connect privately. Now I will tell you how. And then there are VPC endpoints of type gateways. These gateways allows also services that are not managed under a VPC, like Amazon S3 or Amazon DynamoDB, to have a private connection to different services or source. So let's focus on private link. Here a diagram of how private link is working. Basically, there are these VPC endpoints that you can see on the left part of the image. Then there is the private link services, and then we need an external component. Basically, this solved the problem of IP overlapping. So also VPCs, in this example, you can see that there are two subnets with the same range, 10.0.1.0/24. And they are able to communicate privately thanks to VPC endpoint, private link, and network load balancer, because it's created like a double NAT simulation that is creating a specific endpoint that you can call in order to resolve the service that is pointed by private link VPC endpoint from one side and private link and network load balancer from the other side. Regarding the VPC gateway endpoints, I will take this nice GIF from AWSfundamentals.com in order to explain what is the difference between the normal behavior that you have when you reach an Amazon S3 bucket, for example, with and without private link. So usually, for example, you have an EC2, you want to access to an S3 bucket, and the traffic, so your EC2 is on a private subnet. It's going first on NAT gateway, then on internet gateway, to the internet, and then to your S3 bucket. But if you have VPC gateway endpoint, as you can see, you can use them in order to reach your S3 bucket that is in the same account without going to the internet, basically, by calling him, and this will redirect the traffic to the S3 bucket privately without going out of your VPCs or your AWS account publicly. Another important service that is especially useful when we have to reach in a secure way another cloud provider or an on-premise network is the site-to-site VPN. Basically, the site-to-site VPN enables you to create secure IPsec VPN connectivity, and consists of a transit gateway that we will explore in the next slide a little bit more. That is basically a network hub, a customer gateway that represents the device that is on the on-premise network or in the other cloud, And then the VPN connection that you can see in the image in the middle, that is basically a configuration in order to translate all these components that are in the middle of this connection. As I said, this is very useful when you want to reach different cloud and on-premise network in a secure way. I mentioned the transit gateway. The transit gateway is not only useful for site-to-site VPN connection, but it could be used for different use cases. Basically, is a centralized hub that allow you to manage and create transitivity between different VPCs, VPN connection, etc. And we have to use it basically in order to improve scalability, to manage all different network in a simplified way, in order to also decrease the cost, and for security reasons mainly. And the most common use cases are like multi-account AWS organizations or hybrid cloud architectures, as I showed before, using site-to-site VPNs, but also allow you to centralize all the logging, authentication, or even CI/CD if you need it. Anyway, these are just some of the opportunity that AWS offers you. There are a lot of other use cases that that AWS offers and that you can find in this nice white paper. So a very quick case study and takeaways from this presentation. As I said, I had a lot of experience with these services because, as I said, our platform that we nice to call data logistic platform get information from different systems, especially with private connections or VPN connection, and also helps you to simplify what is in the middle and all the problems that you have when you have to move data or working with data or make them available, basically. In order to give you some numbers, by using these services, some of these services that I presented you today, we are able to do more than 30,000 data deliveries every month, so to move the data, to process more than 40 terabytes of data, to support more than 100 of data locations, and to speed up 80% of time to live of the project, and also to make work easily with AI agents. Some actionable insights from this presentation. First, always try to plan early also the network architectures, because it really pays off when you need to scale, and also reduce a lot the time on troubleshootings and support you have to give to their ongoing and complex on the complexity of the architecture. Then always do a checklist on the networking, design the VPCs with separate public and private subnet, set up CloudWatch alarms, for example, on the interface availability of your VPCs, implement VPC endpoints in order to communicate with S3 bucket or DynamoDB tables that you own, in order to avoid also NAT cost. And also map the right connectivity architecture and try to evaluate some of these services that I presented today in order to understand what is the perfect service for your use case. So this is almost all. I really want to thank you. And if you want to give a feedback in order to improve this presentation, here you can find a QR code. So thank you very much all, and I'm open to questions.
Thank you, Enrico. Thank you so much. I love serverless too. So, our security is a top priority for AWS, right? So, and honestly, the scariest things the ones you can see. That's why it's so important to understand the basics of AWS networking. It's something we always need to keep in mind. Thanks for sharing such an important point. So, there is one comment on Zoom. So can VPC peering be connected across easy as well in the same AWS account or even from different AWS accounts?
Yes, thank you for the question, Kiran. Basically, you can connect both on the same AWS account when you have different VPCs or in different AWS accounts. In the same AWS account, if it's in the same region, for example, of course, it's even easier to create the VPC peering connection because I think you don't need to accept the connection, while in different accounts you have to move from one account to the other and accept the request that you create on the original VPC.
Thank you. So, all
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you. Does anyone have any comments or question?
Nothing YouTube and Situ. Nothing
Okay.
comments. Okay.
Okay, let's move on. So next special speakers, Socrates Luis, you ready?
Yes, let me share my screen. Can you see it? Not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, perfect.
All right. Then, yeah. Thanks, Hiromi, and again for the invite for this meetup. It's quite interesting talks that we have seen it up to now, and then I will try then also to keep it short, mine, in order to be on track on time too. And yeah, for today's presentation, I wanted to talk a little bit more about my paths working in the cloud, how I started working on these topics, and then how is that it have helped me in my career, and also on the concepts that I've been managing while working on projects in my job. So thanks again for the invite. And yeah, I'm Socrates Ruiz. I'm also an AWS community builder on the data section. And I work as a principal cloud architect at the company that it's called Simbert here in Munich, Germany. Though I'm originally from Mexico, and that's where my journey begins. Yep. There I started working as a Java developer. At the time, I didn't know anything about AWS, but at the time, I mean, I only did some small tests, but there were only, I think, SQS and EC2 services when I started doing this test, and it was just on my own. It was not due to work. But then I switched from company, and then I started seeing topics back in the day with all this trendy big data topic at the time, and working mainly on the Hadoop ecosystem, which helped me getting familiar with concepts from clustering, sharding, master-slave mechanisms. As you might know, Hadoop ecosystem is a really huge amount of tools, open source tools, where you can learn a lot about. From there, I also switch a little bit in working with non-relational databases like MongoDB, Cassandra, Elasticsearch, but everything was on premises. And from there, I came more on the sysadmin background. Like I was installing all these tools, all these databases on Linux servers mainly. From there, we work fiercely with plain servers, like on bare metal servers. But then little by little, we were also starting, well, with the team, working with hypervisors, virtual machines, and then also with containers. At the time, Docker was still in alpha, but still, like, it was a really good learning path working with it, because then I jumped to also some topics like private clouds with OpenStack and also OpenShift, which is kind of a variant of Kubernetes, which all my previous projects really helped me developing. And from there, I got like two path directions. Like, okay, I could go and focus on private clouds with these technologies. But then I got also the opportunity with another project to switch companies and then start working more with public clouds, mainly AWS. And then start working all these concepts, but now on services on AWS, right? The whole EMR concept at the time, then also Glue with containers. As you know, we have ECS, EKS, and little by little also then knowing other tools to automate the stuff. Because previously I was only using Ansible and Puppet, for example. But then it was like, okay, no, with the cloud, we have all this infrastructure as a code concept. Then CDK was still not there, Terraform was still not there. So in the company that I was, we created our own at the time. But then Terraform came, and then it was like, okay, finally something. Because CloudFormation, when it was released, yeah, still right now, I don't like it too much. It's too wordy. I prefer CDK over CloudFormation. And obviously CDK on the background deploys this CloudFormation, but still, at least you have other technology programming languages to use with CDK. But anyways, that's where I also then got the opportunity on this company to travel a little bit more on the United States and also Spain. So luckily, the cloud was little by little giving me the opportunities to then know other perspectives, other working cultures. And then I started also to work with this. I put it here on the presentation on XOps concepts, because at the very beginning it was like, okay, the whole DevOps culture and all the tools and methodologies process that brings this culture of DevOps. But then with time, I'm guessing that, yeah, it was a really huge marketing success. So many people who started to do also then other works, SecOps, DevSecOps for security, MLOps. Recently, I saw also someone wrote about NoOps with the use of GenAI tools. So that was really interesting for me. But yeah, I got lucky enough then also then to use these concepts and at the projects. And then I also started to work with production workloads in other clouds, mainly Azure and GCP, and then start working on hybrid setups or multi-cloud setups. When, yeah, it's not only just cloud native AWS applications, but also connecting them to Azure endpoints, or as previously stated, using VPN connections to making the hybrid cloud setups, or even with direct connect. So here I'm guessing, like, yeah, my takeaway here, and for whoever will see this session in the future is that I think that by doing hands-on projects and spreading a little bit, starting with a topic that can be just a regular NoSQL database. From there, you can switch and be jumping little by little to different concepts, and then realize that you can do this kind of projects not only in one particular setup on premises, but also on AWS or even also in other cloud providers. But in my experience with AWS, the flexibility that we have is quite a lot, because there are a lot of services which allow us to do one concept in many different ways. And that's, I guess, where the secret is stored, because sometimes depending on the requirements, it will be like what the solution should look like. And now also I put it there with the rise of Gen AI, mainly also what the future can tell us is just also now starting now with switching from trendy topic to trendy topic. And having that in mind, there is also this other project where I'm with a team, but I like to see this team like we are a team of several teams, and these several other teams are a one-man army project. Because now, luckily, with these tools, on this one, I'm using, for example, Cursor, QDeveloper, Cloud, Bedrock, CDK, and for the other community builders, also Heroes, there is also this other tool that I'm currently using there, where actually what I really like there is that I can really focus on the design and really have the time to provide feedback to the agents to get the output that I want from what I on the requirements that I have from the clients. Because what I notice is that these tools are really, really great, and they save a lot of time, but still, in my experience, I don't trust them completely still. Like there is still some understanding that from my point of view needs to be there from the human perspective in order to know, okay, why the agent, I don't know, use elastic load balancer of network type instead of an application type, or vice versa. I don't know, some dummy examples there. But also then to pay attention on the details and see like, okay, what it has helped me on this kind of situation with this project is like, instead of asking the tool for the to create the whole project from scratch, or to help me to create the architecture from scratch, I do first the first draft, give it as input, and then from there start working. And for that, obviously, it really helps to be familiar with architecture patterns. And that way, I believe that it also aligned with what we briefly saw also on the first talk of today, that the more precise or the more concise you are in the prompts that you are giving to the agents is the best results you can get from them. And then, as I mentioned, it's like just really supervising them that the agents are doing the task correctly or as expected. And then, I can just have a really sip of coffee and then wait for them to do all the deployments and development. That has been a really huge step if I compare this project with the very beginning one that I was working in deploying this Hadoop cluster. So it's really helpful there. And obviously with tools and the services that we have with the MCP servers and also the Bedrock ecosystem, I really find it quite satisfying to work with on that regard. And coming back again on how is that being constantly updating, not updating, like keeping me up to track on these topics, is that obviously it has helped me with the career development. As I mentioned, I'm part of the Community Builders program. This is my third year in a row. I got the opportunity to go and give some sessions in many different countries, like here, talking about iceberg tables, networking also, that are really also quite interesting for me. But also what I really like about this program is that also is about supporting each other. Like I have friends, colleagues that I knew that because of recommendations, they went also from their home country to another one to work with the help of many of us. So that's something really cool. And the feeling of the community in the events, it's really quite satisfying. So that's why I wish I knew like before or at the beginning of my career, it was like, okay, there are several, now today more than ever, several sources of information of where we can start learning and improving our knowledge in the cloud. Like internet, number one, like we no longer have to go to a physical library. It's just in the reach of our computers. For AWS, I found quite useful the AWS Skill Builder page, the GitHub AWS sample repository, which I already wrote on the chat. There are several repositories with workshops or how-to tutorials that I found really quite amazing, and they are actually also keeping up to date. And obviously YouTube channels of several AWS heroes or also community builders where interesting topics are even talked in more detail than here. So that's really useful. Also, I wish I knew there are several events that are free, like the summits or some summits, some community days, or most of them, in my experience. Also, the user groups and online meetups. For the user groups, I've seen that in the big cities of several countries, there are user groups already. So I guess it's a matter just to be lucky enough to live in close to those cities, but still online meetups like this one also really help from my point of view. And the most important part I think from here is like to have this curiosity and never lose it, like to ask questions. From my point of view, there are no doomy questions. It's just a matter just to learn more. And also for example, really cool topic for introverts like me, if we don't know how to break the ice, like just to ask a question, a technical one, it can be to the guy that was presenting, for example, at the reInvent. That's the starting point of a really nice conversations that you could have with people, and then also then to spread the perspective on different topics, right? And also learning new concepts. And now more than ever, like to have an open mind in the sense that I've seen posts like saying like, no, Gen AI will substitute the developers or the other way around, that they are against it, or I don't know. I think that there will be a middle point there, and that's where having this flexibility in our mindset really can help us, and then improve all of the opportunities that we have in our career, in our professional career. So thank you so much. Those are my contact details, and then I'm open to any question if still.
Thank you so much, Socrates. I'm sure your story will inspire someone. When I first started using AWS, there were not many services like there are now. It was super simple back then. Such good memories. You've gained so much through your skill journey. Curiosity really does lead to action, and that action keep us building, trying things out, keeping at it. That's so important. And your journey is still going right. So thank you again for sharing your story. So that's any have any question thoughts or question or comments?
No comment. No comment.
Nothing?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So, all right, let's go to our final special speakers today. Diego, thank you for waiting.
No
Ready?
worries. Yeah, let me share my screen. Desktop 2. Okay, share. And let me put my presentation.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, so first of all, thank you all for being here until the end of the presentation. Thank you, Hiromi, for organizing this and for having me. It's a great event that I've been following in the last editions. I saw it on YouTube, so it's awesome to be here. Okay. Today I will tell a bit about my history as well, just like Socrates, but I pretend I want to share about how I felt on AWS. This was not my beginning, how it was happening during a crisis, and how we can get good things from the crisis. Okay. So let's start with okay. Let's start with who am I? I'm a Brazilian. I live in Portugal for 6 years now. I have my grandparents are Portuguese, and I moved to Portugal in 2019. It's been a great journey. Um, I also run the AWS User Group Lisbon together with a great team that we have here in Portugal. By the way, this year we are organizing our first community day in Portugal, 27th of September. So stay tuned for news soon. Um, I also write some stuff in my technical blog. I normally write about certifications, about Kubernetes, about containers, and so on. So, oh, sorry, about containers and so on. So if you are interested, also take a time to go there. I'm a cloud career mentor for a project called Escola da Nuvem. Escola da Nuvem in English means School of Cloud. It's basically a non-profit organization in Brazil that helps vulnerable people to enter in the technology market, teaching basic AI technology, networking, cloud as well, using the AWS Restart program. And I do mentoring for those people to help them getting the first certification, how to behave, for example, in interviews, how to reach the market, and so on. It's a very nice project. I have it very close to my heart because I really like what those guys are doing in Brazil. Of course, I work as well. So I'm country manager for the Rede in Iberia. That's why I'm in Portugal. So I have been working a lot with the Portuguese and the Spanish market with AWS. And fun fact, we do have here a few, another one golden jacket. We have someone that's almost there as well. I'm a golden jacket as well. I got all the certifications last year. And I just wanted to share, if you guys cannot see me, I am there, I promise, right in the back. This was a meetup that we had during the last rain event where we were able to meet the creator of the Golden Jacket. It was fun. He still works for AWS, but in other business that's not marketing and so on. But it was very nice to meet author Golden Jackets, the creator, and so on. It was really, really nice. Okay, so let's jump to the history for today. So we are going to start in 2017 when I was just a boy starting my career in IT. At that time, I was a performance analyst that works with many customers. I was basically responsible for finding performance improvements in the environment. So those performance improvements could be in terms of application code, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of database, and so on. Everything that we could make sure that the environment's running very well and without problems and at the best performance possible. Okay. I don't know if you guys will remember, but at that year we had one of the worst cyber attacks in history. We got a ransomware called WannaCry. It was massive around the world. Many companies were affected by the ransomware, including many customers that we had at that time. Okay, if you don't know what a ransomware is, basically it's a type of virus that gets in your infrastructure and starts to encrypt all your data, all your infrastructure, and you basically lose access of your whole environment. It's like if someone had kidnapped your infrastructure and those hackers ask for payments in crypto for giving back your data and providing you the key that you need to decrypt your data. Okay. It's very dangerous. It's very effective because this virus has the power for moving inside your network and encrypt all your servers if you have an breach in terms of networking, in terms of access, and so on. So, for example, it could even encrypt your backups, and you were not able to recover any kind of access of your services. Okay. It's also important to say that at that time we were in a world before cloud. Of course, cloud computing existed, but it was not heavily used like today. So we were talking about on-premises. We were talking about many manual processes. We had a few automations, but not for the purpose that we use today, because today we have, for example, automated backups, process to reinstall all the application inside of a virtual machine. We can delete and recreate many virtual machines almost instantly today. And those are all superpowers that we did not have at that time. So it was a chaos. I remember very well because I remember working overnight, working during the weekends. It was a Friday when the massive attack started. So I worked over the weekend just to make sure, first, the servers that we supported were updated with the last version that had the bug that was exploited fixed. Second, that helping customers that were unlucky enough to get the virus, because we had a few of those as well. And thirdly, making sure that we can manage all the situations, talking to customers, explain the problem, how we are going to work on it, if they are or not in risk, and so on. Okay. And of course, what we had a lot that time was situations like this. Where's the backup? Inside of the server. This was kind of a normal standard at that time because we used to use always and forever the same server. We gave names to servers, and they are our closest friends in terms of IT at that time. So we even had, for example, documentations, backups, and a lot of things inside of servers. So this was a massive problem. Okay. It's not ideal, but it was, let's say, the bad standard for that time. Moving on. So I'm starting from a perspective where I worked with on-premises. I worked with many customers that also had the same challenge that we have today, keeping my application live, answering my customers with the performance that they need, and so on. Until at that day, we had a customers that call us with a story like this one. Oh, I have a virus, but I can fix it installing my whole application again. So for this specific case, a customer called me and say, "Hey Diego, we have one of our machines infected. So as we don't have backups, I have recreated the new virtual machine and installed my software again. But every time I finish the installation, the virtual machine gets infected again, and I lose all my job and have to restart the whole process." Okay. At that time, what got my attention was mainly two items. The first one, how can this guy do it 3 times? It was kind of my first question, how he can create a new virtual machine, install it again, and get infected all over again. This was my first question about it. But what really got my attention is when he said like, "Oh, okay, I created a new empty machine and installed my software again." And why is that? Because at that time, if I wanted to have a new virtual machine in my infrastructure, I had to wait for like a month or 2 months a few times because they had to, okay, buy new servers, install the servers on the data center, install the whole base configuration for being available on the network, and then making this available for my team that was responsible for spinning up the databases, the applications, and so on. So just the fact that he could create new virtual machines almost instantaneously, in a few minutes, he can have a new virtual machine and so on. It really got my attention. Okay. And of course, the second point, it was like, what's he doing wrong? Because if he creates a new empty virtual machine and still gets infected, we need to find out first what's the problem here and why he keeps getting infected again and again and again. Okay. So, what was our conclusion for that specific case? First of all, he was deploying everything before patching the new virtual machine. So he got an image that there was no updates done, which means that the vulnerability is still there. And before patching it, before updating it, he was installing the whole application all over again. So this was the first problem. The lesson that we got here is, okay, if you want to do it right, the first thing that you have to do is to fix the vulnerability. Because if you don't do that, you will be exposed again because you have big trouble in your hands. Okay. The second problem was he had two permissive networking rules. It means that for the whole infrastructure that he had inside of his virtual network, the VPC at that time, I didn't know that, but I found out eventually, has communications in all ports for all virtual machines that he had inside of this network. So it means that the virus was not in the new image, but he was in somewhere else. And every time the virus identified that there is a new virtual machine in the network, he just moved it and infected the new virtual machine. Okay. So here, of course, the action is we need to review, we need to make sure that we are following the AWS first rule, that's the least privileges possible. It is valid for access, but it's valid as well for networking rules. You should only open it, the ports and the communication that you really, really needed. Okay, nothing else, because then you can have those kind of problems. And he had no standard backup or recovery process. I know that you guys remember. I just say that we were in a time that we did not have many automations, that we did not have many ways of doing that. But at that specific time, one of the issues that we identified and AWS provided, but he was not using, was the power for creating automated backups, snapshots, and so on. So he could, for example, create a virtual machine, install it all the software, and quickly take a snapshot just to make sure that if he got infected again, he does not have to go through 2 or 3 hours of installation all over again. Okay. But what really impressed me at that time was, of course, AWS. I didn't know about it. I didn't know how easy it was to create new virtual machines and how we could easily, for example, remove the infected ones, how we could easily change the networking rules, applying everything very fast. So my point for this was like, okay, this can be a game changer. These are going to be the future. And man, I just need to learn this thing. I need to make literally a career shift because I saw the opportunity. I saw how revolutionary it was. And I have been working with cloud computing since that time. Um, of course, a few years later, AWS dominated the market. My career shift was the best thing that could have happened to me. And today we are here talking about it. Okay. A few takeaways for today. I promised that I was going to be fast. I just wanted to give you guys some insights about career, about how things could have happened. So first of all, what's the first takeaway that we have? Speed does not mean security, and this is very important. I know that we are in a time that we always say that we have to be fast, we have to be the first, we have to be um efficient, but we cannot jump steps when we are talking about security. Okay. Security is a thing like, okay, everything is going fine until the day that it isn't, and you see yourself locked in a very complicated path where you can risk not only your infrastructure, but your data, your credibility, your customers, and so on. So I know we need to be fast, we need to be the first, we need to be um keeping innovating, but we cannot forget about security. This is a lesson not just for the process that we have today, but for all the things that we do with AI as well. We always need to double check it just to make sure that we are following the best practices in terms of security. We need to include that in your prompts and in your pre-configurations because we need to make sure that security is the number one thing for everyone. This is the law, let's say, that AWS follows, and it should be yours as well. Okay. The second lesson for this specific event was cloud is a tool, but it's not a magic solution. So, for example, in this case, the customer had all the capability of creating how many virtual machines he wanted. He created it 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, but as he does not apply the best practices, as he is not following the guideline for a security event, he had the best tool, but he does not have the process and the way of working that solved his problem. So yes, cloud is awesome, AI is awesome, uh, security tools is awesome, but it's not magical. We need to plan accordingly. We need to uh, check it all, everything that we have been done. We need to plan. We need to do the right choices because then yes, we can take the best from those awesome tools, but we need to be careful and we need to work accordingly. Okay. And last but not least, of course, for me, the most important thing is that I learned that good things can come from chaos. For me, it wasn't just a cyber attack. Okay, it was also awful for most of the infected guys, but for me, I probably would took way more time to know about Cloudy. Maybe the moment for a change had passed. Maybe I could get in the other way that was not so good when how Cloud was for me. So it's important to have this in mind if you are in a bad project, in a bad moment in your career, and so on. Remember that even from the chaos, you can have good things. You may not see it now, but this is definitely something that you need to have in mind just to keep going, keep working, that you will see the value soon. Okay? So that's all for today. Hope you appreciated the event. Hope you appreciated the talk. Feel free to reach me on the social medias, on LinkedIn, and so on. And thank you all.
Thank you, Diego. Thank you. So that was such an interesting story. I'm sure your journey will also become a model for someone out there. I was really curious about your work too, especially because volunteering is one of my hobbies. we don't we don't have much time to dive into the WannaCry story, but I can imagine how tough that must have been. And then now with the rise of AI, I feel like security has become even more important than
Yeah.
ever. Yeah. So, all right, but bringing it back. So, does any have any question or comments for Diego?
So no comment. So I think so. WannaCry is and backup on the server. I experience and positive out my customer. So to next day, so WannaCry crash is server emergency. So lift to cloud.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was tough, and it's still around this day, so we had to be careful, very careful.
yeah. Mhm. Thank you. So
All right.
now, oh, okay, no problems.
Okay, so Diego, you can check in comment on Zoom.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Once again, thank you so much, our speakers. Thank you so much. Let's move on to the closing talk, right? Uh, to all our speakers, thank you again. You are amazing talks today. Uh, I really truly appreciate it. You shared such so good hope and inspiring ideas with us. Each talk had its own unique message, and together they gave us a lot to take away. Thank you for spending your time with us. It meaning a lot. Before we wrap up, feel free to drop your social media in the chat so we can all stay connected. And if you enjoyed today's event with love for you to share this community with your AWS friends. We are always excited to welcome new voices. We want to keep this going so more people can hear stories like yours. Thanks again, everyone. I hope see you again soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you. See you soon,
Thank
Hiromi.
you.
See you
Now.
soon, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.